Hey friends, welcome back to Chocolate and Spice to Brown Women Talk. I'm Nithi, and today's episode is a little different. I'll walk you through the mental gymnastic I've been doing deciding where my 6 year old should go to school. Should he go to public school, private school, Montessori, and then there is a new concept of Montessori. I have been going through this emotional turmoil to to kind of figure out where to send our 6 year old. So that's what we want to talk to you about.
And I am here as the older sister today. So my son is 19 years old. And all I want to say to Nidhi is she may be overthinking this, but I'm there to support her however I can. So she's been making all these spreadsheets with tabs and color coding the whole shebang. And I'm like, I'm just, I don't know, befuddled. So let's see how our discussion goes today.
All right, so let's get into it. So I'll start with the mental load, what actually went into making the decision. So there are a few things we weighed in making the decision on where to send our 6 year old. There were things like shadow days, like all of the public school here, you can tour charter school, public school, you can go tour them, you can do shadow days, you can sit in the classrooms. So a few things that we took into account was the classroom size, the teacher quality, extracurricular logistics, value alignment, the social fabric, academic culture, and finance reality, of course. So I know you're going to say I'm overthinking it. There's no need to do it. If there's a good public school in your area, go for it. Is that where your mind is going?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm like, I'm exhausted. List. I think I tuned you out halfway through your list. I'm like, too many choices. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to give consideration because you're thinking about your kid and it will impact a lot of what happens later, especially in middle school and high school. So, like I said, I'm absolutely willing to hear, and I'm sure a lot of parents who are in your shoes will benefit a lot from your assessment and the work that you're doing on this.
All right, just hear me out. Keep an open mind, all right? So I might have overcomplicated things, but I'll take you through my thought process. So Vikram has been in a Montessori school since preschool, and we love it. So the for people who are not aware of the concept of Montessori, it is a very hands-on education system. So the classroom, a mixed-age classroom, it's based on the culture that builds independence and really highlights emotional intelligence. So, Montessori at its core is a child led learning program, and the program is carefully designed where the teachers or the guides, they call the teachers guides, they observe and respond rather than lecture the students. And that has always resonated with us. So, when it came time for us to move away from, like, make a new step towards first grade, like he went to Montessori till kindergarten, we were seriously considering moving him to our local public school because it's a solid public school. We actually bought this house, moved in this area just because the public school was so good. But my husband and I kept coming back to how well Vikram has been doing in this Montessori. Like he has been thriving. He really likes the choices given to him, and he loves his guides. He loves the pace with which his education and curricula is moving. And the best thing is, every morning he wakes up and he loves going to school. And we were a little hesitant to take that away from him. And then this summer, his Montessori introduced a new concept called Montessorium, which is described as Montessori all grown up. So this is a classic blend of Montessori independence with a personalized tech-powered learning. And what this means in English language is that you keep the Montessori DNA, which is curiosity, focus on EQ and self-direction alive, but you add to it a targeted, individualized practice supported by technology. So that's a concept of Montessorium. So I'm pretty
Wow.
sure you are thinking what this is.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Montessori on a jetpack. But I mean, I've heard of Montessori, and to be honest, like, I remember Aryan, my son, he started off with the Montessori, but that was when he was 3 or 4 years old. So we kept him for a bit in Montessori, and then he obviously moved into public school. So yeah, I'm very excited about what you just mentioned, the Montessorium concept, because it's like I have never even heard of the term. So talk to me about it. Like, what do you mean by tech powered learning? Because like 12 or 13 years back when my son went to first grade, At least there was no such thing as tech powered learning. I mean, obviously there were computers, but I don't know.
Okay. Since we both work in tech and you will understand this concept and you work, I mean, you are close to AI and all of that. So I'll explain there is AI component to it, which was a little suspicious to us. So a big part of the due diligence that we did with Montessorium is a 2 hour AI learning. So the idea is, made popular by Alpha School here in Austin. So that's a new concept of school that was started here in Austin. The whole concept is that the kids can complete the core academics in 2 hours using adaptive AI driven tools that is created one-on-one mastery based path. So this is basically customized to your learning. And this school is operates throughout Austin, and they have been growing. And this might be interesting to parents of young kids that this 2 hour AI learning is not going to remain niche anymore. So Alpha is expanding rapidly outside of Austin, and they are trying to also move towards this in public schools and charter schools. So it might be coming to more schools. Right now, it's still very limited, but it's growing rapidly. So to go back to the AI course, there is a site dedicated for 2 hour model that is explains that there's accelerated personalized academics in the morning so that the rest of the day is left for workshops and whatever the kids needs to do. So it won't be all 2 hours sitting on the screen and doing your own thing, which will eventually come when you're in middle school or high school. But for kids this young, whole 2 hour learning will be broken down in maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes cycle. So it won't be like 2 hour nonstop screen time, which was one of the biggest thing. So they're going to divide it into like chunks and help kids understand the whole concept and how to even use tablets, because we are one of the big thing is we had not even introduced Vikram to using tablets. So how will he even know how to move the cursor and do all those things? And are you familiar with map test?
No,
It's measures of academic progress. It's a standardized test.
I see.
I don't know, you might have forgotten, or maybe it was not very popular during Aryan's time. But it's a computer adaptive assessment in reading, math, language, and sometimes science, depending on the grade. And that adjusts the difficulty of each question in real time based on how the kid answers. So if they get one right, the next question is going to be harder. But if they miss one, the next one is going to be easier. So basically, it hones on exactly what the kid knows and what they're ready for next. So this gives teachers a very good baseline on where to start. And then this information is fed into the AI course because it's a personalized test. So every kid is going to start at a different level, and then they will do their worksheets. They will learn a lot of things with that AI program. So it's not like the AI is going to teach them. The core hands-on teaching in Montessori will still be the guides or the teacher. So they'll use the beats or whatever concept they use to teach addition, multiplication, and all of that. But a lot of coursework will be done online. So they'll all of those papers that we used to get from school, all of that will go away now. Whatever he does in school, we will have our own login. We will be able to see what he's working on, and so on. So you ask me all the questions. You look worried.
No, I mean, I am not, I mean, I'm not even surprised. Everything you said was what Aryan did as well. And I'm talking, he's 19, so whatever, 12, 13 years back. So I will ask you more detailed questions. Perhaps that will help me because the map test. Now I remember it was not called a map test, but every year he used to have this like the whole I guess like the area schools, all the schools used to have this. So that was definitely happening annually. And also the adaptive part, I'm not entirely certain, but I know these adaptive tests are nothing new. They are like in SATs and all, they happen anyway. And then the idea of courses online and it being done on computer and then it being graded and parents having access to an online learning center that they can see, that was also actually true. So there was an online center where you could parents could log in, they had their own login and they could see some of the progress if they wanted to. So actually it all of that was already there. I think that what you are saying, which perhaps is different, is that AI will create the code. Like I'm trying to understand what is different here. Computers had already been introduced in classrooms all the way back a decade or more back from what I remember. And so it's not like Aryan used to be on computer all the time. Actually, I do not remember his primary school days, but in the middle school,
Yeah,
definitely computer
this,
was in.
yeah. Maybe you are thinking about more of his middle or high school days, where in public school uh,
Definitely
technology,
computers were there. Yes.
computers, right?
Yeah.
They're starting from a very small age, and the thing
Awesome.
is, I think the courses that they did 10 years back were not AI driven. They were like same course, same thing, all the students will do. Or it was, I don't even know if it were the courses or just some test. But in this case, the whole thing is about a personalized curriculum where you do 2 plus 2 is 5, and then the AI will tell, oh, are you sure? Because think about what 2 plus 1 is 3. Then you add one more to it, it's 4. It's like, and then they'll be like very interactive. We did the shadow day, so we saw how it interacts. So it's based on your mental capacity and your logical thinking. So that's how they have trained the model. They have done a lot of research in the last 5 years. How do 6 years old, 7 years old behave? And then they took all the data and they kind of, uh, personalized it and made it so that they can learn faster. It's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. This is all good thing. I mean, you and I are both techies, so obviously, how can we not be surprised and amazed at this? This is great. I was just like answering your question on how different is it. Like some of the areas were not at all different, but this part is different, which is the courses are absolutely customized to the user. So in this case, the student, and this and not even 6 years. It's not even age cohort. It's personal to how one 6 year old behaves versus the other six, which is great because I think in public classrooms or even I guess private classrooms, one-on-one teaching is rather impossible, and
mhm.
so this is like almost a personal tutor to an extent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
That's how they market it. It's a personal tutor, and if you keep doing it, and AI understands you are getting better, then there are examples where you skip grades because and I don't care about skipping grades, but the whole concept is like because it's personalized and it's learning what you're doing and it's giving you harder and harder things. So it's like you don't have to wait till the next session to learn all of this if you can learn all of it now. So that's the whole concept.
yeah.
But yeah, so AI component is a little, it's new. And do you want your kids to be involved in AI? That was a suspicious part for it.
No, I mean, AI in itself has is nothing scary. It's how AI is leveraged. In this case, AI is leveraged to actually help kids grow based on their ability to grow. And the fact of the matter is, no two human and no two kids are the same. And so, why not leverage AI for good? Because there are so many ways AI could not be leveraged for good. This is at least feels like it may be leveraged for good. The only catch again, and I know you have a lot of other thoughts, my other catch question is just the human interaction because I do not have any scientific surveys right now in front of me, but I do remember reading in a bunch of places where, especially Gen Alpha, I guess. I think Vikram would be Gen Alpha, right? Gen Alpha and Gen Z are having a harder and harder time interacting with real humans because they are more used to interacting with online friends or just being online and therefore not speaking out a lot, and so their true communication skills start messing up. So this is where I wonder because like will they get used to talking to an AI, which like I don't know, we'll have to teach them how to talk to an AI or they'll teach us. And because it is a fact, like the teachers will not be talking to them as much if AI is a filter. So how would you handle that?
Yeah, so that's a good thing about the Montessorian concept. Like the hands-on learning still remains. Like there's a cutoff at 2 hours. Like I think they initially when they're so young, they might not even do the full 2 hour. They might just do 1 hour. But the rest of the day is all hands-on learning. And when I say hands-on, it's like just interaction. Like kids interact with each other. The teachers interact. So I'm not really concerned about the social aspect yet because they're not spending the entire day on the iPad or the computer that's given. But few of our initial hesitation were privacy, safety, and the digital well-being of the kids. So we didn't want to jump into this shiny program without asking the hard questions. So we asked, like, are there cameras and microphones attached that the kids will be using? And what exact data is being collected? How is the engagement of the kids being tracked? Who is getting this data? How is it being stored? Is a third party going to be utilizing this data? Are you COPA compliant? And all of these things were non-negotiable for us, and they are using, there is going to be a camera on the device. And how do they train the model, right? I mean, one of the thing is like they'll be collecting all of this data that his class is going through, and they'll be using this data to train the model, which makes sense. We understand how AI works, right? I mean, if you don't get data, there's no point of any large language model. And knowing all of this, we made peace with it. My husband did had concern about digital, like the addiction of tablet or any of the computers. That was the biggest thing, because at home we try to limit screen time as much as we possibly can. And my husband, when we had our town hall meeting with them, one of the main question that Siddharth, my husband, asked was like, my concern is, I work in a technology field, I make tools to make people addictive. That's the core, like that's how we build apps. I don't want my son to be trapped in the same way in technology. So they made us do shadow days where we sat and the kid did the whole AI thing. Like he spent a lot of time doing it by himself. And when we saw the program, it was done. It was very done very tastefully. The program is built that you cannot really navigate away from the real coursework. It is not meant to be addictive. It's like to the point. You do your stuff and you get out. They've tried to make sure that you don't spend more time on it than necessary. So when we did the shadow day, when we talked to like the whole concept that they are trying to build and how it's going to benefit, the pros and cons, it just felt like it was worth it. Like, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, I am like totally bought. Not that I gotta do anything, but like if you're asking my opinion, I really loved everything you said because think about it this way: how many kids are wanna keep studying and being in the course environment for more than 2 hours? So they'd actually probably be very very excited about switching off the laptop and going out and playing because it will still be work, it will still be study, and people can always differentiate between study and fun. So yeah, while they can go to their phone and look at social media and get addicted, the chances of this adding to it is smaller, but yeah, the screen time part is true. Your eyes get fatigued more. You potentially get more used to a screen than maybe a book, if book is relevant in this case. But yeah, I don't think it is necessarily comparable to that addiction that could happen, like social media addiction that could happen because of how those apps are designed.
Yeah.
I feel like this is very very different and very reason. I mean, I'm very glad that it was designed with so much taste and attention to what kids want.
Mhm. Yeah, so basically, exactly what you said. Once we did the shadow day, I spent a lot of time with the program leaders who have built it. We felt good about it. Like there's a lot of rules around data protection and privacy, especially when it's minors and kids. So we got all of that information. We know how the data is being utilized. It's not being shared with third party and so on. So we felt good about it. There's a lot of paperwork we had to sign for it, but all good. So we are totally bought in the Montessorian concept, but the other aspect that I want to talk about is the practical stuff that matter. So the campus, the way the campus runs is 18 to 2 ratio. So it's lower compared to the public schools, right? So he's going to get a lot of attention from the teachers, and that brings me back to what you said about reading. So whatever 2 hour AI learning they're going to do, but there's also dedicated time for reading. They have a whole library in the class. Like every day you have to spend 30 minutes reading any book, and then there's a journal. So that I asked the teacher, are they going to forget how to write or something? But then there's a journal, and they're also teaching cursive and all of that. So that made me feel good. So they are kind of not letting those traditional ways go. So they're going to be good at reading, or at least they're going to practice reading, writing. One of the biggest thing that made this whole Montessori concept look attractive is also the school timing. I know you're going to think, I mean, a lot of people listening was like, who cares? But 7:30 to in the classroom without any flexibility, that was hard. I know a lot of parents do it, but like the battling the 7:30 plus the rush hour, it's like, oh my god. And we had never done it because we were never in that environment. That was kind of a deal breaker for us too. So at the school that he's going to go to, it's 6 to 6. So the class starts from 8:30, 8:30 to 9, and it ends at 3:30. But when I say 6 to 6, like aftercare is included in it. So if I'm in a meeting or something, I know he's in a safe environment. And initially, when we were talking about putting him into public school, got into an argument. My husband like, who is going to drop the seven? Who's going to do the 7:30 drop off? And we both were like, oh my god, this is a lot of work to get in the traffic. He could have taken a school bus, but initially the first few months we would have to like do the dropping and all of that. And my husband always says time is money. Is like, if you can protect your sanity, if you can do more with your time, then money spent is well spent. So that is a family ideology. So, and the reason I wanted to bring that is because I'm going to talk about money now, because of course all of this is not free. Like, money is a big piece of it. Public school is free. Montessori with the added alpha program or the AI driven program is certainly not free. It's the tuition is a real number. So we did the math, and it made sense for us. Like, as I said, my husband always says time is money, and if you can keep yourself organized, if you can protect your mental and physical health, it's all worth it. So also, plus the aftercare being included, it just made sense for us that when we compare the full picture of the time, the care, the quality, the convenience against the tuition, it we could make it work. So we were able to make space for us in our financials without overstretching. So that was an important aspect of it, and the balance was the key. So it's not about spending just to spend, but about choosing what makes sense for our family. So that was a big thing. And one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the social aspect, and maybe you can give me some advice on it. So what I'm struggling with, I'm still wrestling with it, because he did join this Montessori. He's going into a private school, and the classroom is gorgeous. Dee, when you come here, I'll take you to his classroom. You will be so pleased, because you are such a design person and you love beauty. It looks like a boutique shop. It's so beautiful. And they're well behaved kids, and the guides are calm, and they are like, oh, bring out your feelings, and like getting your EQ high and all of that. And sometimes I keep thinking, it's like, what is this luxury? It's like, it's wonderful in so many ways, but that's when the doubt creeps in. And when I say that, what I mean is like, uh, it's a very cushiony environment. Will he be street smart is the first thing that comes to my mind. And in a big public school, you are forced into a lot of different environment. You are forced to be independent. You have to navigate crowd, the cafeterias, the playground, deal with people taking your lunch and different personalities. You have to figure things out. That's a form of resilience that he's not building in the school. There's a lot of structure here. It's supported. It's beautiful, but he's not getting the messy exposure here. You know, so I mean, I'm thinking we can dial up the real world experience for him for by traveling more, maybe having outside school sports, like putting him in sports and helping him volunteer and so on. But that is something I have been struggling with, and I reserve the right to change my decision of sending him to private school. Maybe let's see how this year goes. But yeah, this is one of the cons, which I don't know how to deal with. So
Yeah, yeah. And how long did you say the school lasts? Like the whole primary?
yeah, this is the whole primary. So second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade. Yeah.
All the way from first to sixth grade?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is.
we're not committed to all elementary.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was just trying to think like this is such a good. I didn't realize there was this part to this school. Like tech, all good. Montessori typically is all good, but I think what you stated was true, which is like at some point he'll go to public school or a larger school, right? Middle school, high school, he will have to,
hmm
most likely he will have to. And so how aware and resilient did you want him to be? And having not seen the school, I'm just taking your word for it, of that being more utopian and more fanciful, or then because public schools are a great place to, I wouldn't call it toughening up kids. It's just like kids become aware of what can come, and then they become more conscious of how to serve themselves without others help as much, right? So there are unfortunate parts of that, right? There will be bullying, there will be activities that you don't want your kids to see, but if they see, then they grow up accordingly and more resilient. And if the school really shelters everything out of that, then how would Vikram learn about it? And no amount of taking him to travel or taking him out would, it's not comparable, because you will always be the shield and guide. It's
Yeah.
not like he's interacting by himself. Potentially, if you put him in some sports clubs, and he plays sports, he will get that competitiveness and sort of interaction with other kids, which automatically will lead to some issues, and therefore he will know what issues are and how to solve those for himself. So those are the things which I also thought about with AI, because with a real human to human learning, it's like, oh, 2 plus 2 is not 5, and some teachers might get upset with him, or tell him very nicely, and so different teachers would have behaved differently with him for different topics, and he would have responded accordingly, and therefore learned what it is to respond based on nature, human nature, I mean. AI will always be very measured and very smart. Like, AI will always do just the right thing. Like, you and I use
Yeah.
Gemini, Chat GPT, what's the other one, I forget the name, but we use that a lot. So I can go on and on. Like, I hard decision, man. I was wrong to say well, you're over.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, AI, yeah, obviously AI, that aspect of it. Yeah, there's still a teaching portion where the teachers will still teach them and they'll still do thing with
Right,
pen
right,
and
right.
paper.
Yes.
But I'm less concerned about the AI thing. I don't know, maybe it'll grow, maybe I'll understand more. But the social aspect is a
Yeah,
one. It's not like the school is purposely trying to shelter, but you can understand 18 to 2 in the environment where everybody is well behaved, everybody belongs to a certain financial background, because it's, you know what I mean, like there
yeah.
isn't that kind of diversity that a public school has, right?
Well, you
Because
don't. Okay, okay. Now I get your point. I mean, that would have been true for any private versus public school debate.
yeah, 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 I'm not, yeah, that's, so I'm not connecting the AI with this is the
Okay.
part of the private school. It's
Yeah.
like which again would be true for any private school, but yeah, it is yeah, I don't know, I mean, he's
I
still
don't
very
know
young,
how
maybe.
sheltered he will be, honestly. Okay, I may have misunderstood. I thought this was a component to this specific
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
If it's a typical private
yeah.
school, humans will be humans, and there
Yeah,
will.
that's true. Humans will. You're right, and that's we brought this point in the town hall or whatever the meeting that they had, and one of the parents, they asked about, they will be so sheltered, and the teacher said, you know, to you from outside they look like well behaved, but when parents go away in the class, still the same thing happens. They'll be pushing, there'll be people being mean, calling names, and all of that still happens. It might not be as big in public school because the quantity of uh, students are more. It's like 25, 30 versus 18. It'll be smaller, but that human nature, as you said, is still the same
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. Then,
Yeah,
then it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Like,
It's
put
fine.
even five kids together in a room with five different personalities, no amount of
Um,
supervision will help. Something will happen and they will have learned. And then by the time he is in middle school, depending upon how you and Siddharth decide, he would have hopefully like built that resilience to an extent to know that he's going to go in a new environment, and therefore he'll have to behave differently, which is true for anybody, right? Like, you go from a small town to a big city,
that's
you
true.
go, right? Like,
We
so
all
small
survived
town.
it. He'll be fine. I've overcomplicated this thing anyway. I've overthought. But one thing that I did want to mention here before we end our chat is this whole process, how brought the parent community together, because so many of our families were going through the same decision at the same time. So we gravitated towards each other. So we had our own WhatsApp group where we shared our research, we shared screenshots from what we have found, we did our due diligence, we met outside of school, we talked about it. And honestly, I would not have interacted with so many parents if it was not for making this decision. So it gave me a certain level of appreciation of how different families have different values. Some prioritize academics, some prioritize flexibility, some have affordability, community. But underneath all of this, the best thing is that we all are doing the best for our kids and we are trying to figure out what's actually doable for our family. So this perspective is so beautiful for me. Like, We are
Yeah,
in this together to make
yeah,
a better
yeah.
future.
Because you would have thought, like, in our, at least in our podcast, our persona is, you are the extrovert, you like quick thinker, don't think too much, and I overthink, or I'm an introvert. But in this case, our personalities differ, because for in this area, I was very much in the club of parenting, which is like, this is the scenario, the kid will go here, the kid will adapt, and we will do the best that we can for the given scenario. So I really didn't overthink it by any stretch. What we did was, we did move to a place where we knew the public school was as good as it could have been, so as highly rated as it could have been. And we did also make sure that we got a house which was very close to his school, so we didn't have to do the driving thing, which is also a factor. But that's it. And then,
Yeah, I know. Aaron used to walk to school.
yeah,
I mean,
we used to
imagine how
walk.
convenient was that. Didi, you don't know the real pain of driving a kid to school during the rush hour. And
Yeah, it still happened in middle school and high school. It still happened. Like, you still have to drive. But yeah, primary school, it gets even worse because they're so young. And then, of course, after school care, it was also in the school. So we also wanted to make sure that public school offers it. But as long as those three criteria, so for us, those were the three criteria. The school is good enough. It
Mhm.
is close by for us to drive and things. And third is like after school care. As long as that was met, we're like, we will figure a way out.
Yeah,
So
to add to that, we have the same criteria plus a humane morning so that we don't go crazy and I don't start my morning arguing with my husband. That was another thing we wanted to put in there.
yeah, yeah. But you're right. Like, everybody does their best, and absolutely, and it's absolutely fine. Like
Yeah.
like you said, kids are resilient, and parents ideally should be resilient. We will always blame ourselves, so pointless.
Yeah, it's I've made peace with it that I'll always worry about Vikram. We'll worry about a kid throughout our life. That's something that never goes away. So I think we'll just leave it there. At the end of the day, it's our choice, and every family has their own values, resources, circumstances, and there is no right answer.
Yeah, totally. And thank you everyone for listening in. This was a very different conversation we had today. As you can see, we are wearing our chocolate and spice talk t-shirts, which we just very recently got. And Vikram, Nidhi's son, also is wearing one because he loves it so much. But thanks again for tuning in. And you can find us on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and more. And check our website at chocolateandspicetalk.com for show notes, extras, and then to connect with us directly. You can always email us at hello@chocolateandspicetalk.com. And don't forget to rate, leave a comment, and share this episode if it resonated with you.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.